Hey Catholic Match, the video you're about to see is part of a brand new initiative called Relate, which is the community feature on Catholic Match. If you would like to join this event and events like this live, please check us out at catholicmatch.com/relate or click the link in the description below. Thank you and enjoy the video.
So, ladies, without further ado, please help me welcome the one and the only Lillian Fallon to our stage.
Hi.
We are so glad you're here, Lillian. Thank you for taking the time. And what's funny is we were talking backstage, you are also in your parents' guest room.
Yes, that's so weird that we're all in our parents'
Maria,
guest
our
room.
backup house, is also at her parents' house. So yeah, we're just all, I don't know if anyone watching is there right now, but you're in good
Team.
company. So
Yeah. Yeah, I had, bats in my apartment. Anybody who, follows me on social media, has followed the, bat saga of my
I
apartment
think
or
I
they think
saw
these.
some of that.
Yeah, I'm, currently getting, rabies shots, my arm is sore from getting rabies because I was, asleep while there was a bat in my room, so they were like, "Well, you gotta get rabies shots if you
That's
were."
terrifying. So
Yeah,
that's why you're at mom and dad's.
that is why I'm at mom and
Good
dad.
call, Lillian. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's scary.
Rabies
Well,
awareness, everybody.
yes, Ravi. I know we didn't know we were going to have that tonight. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, okay, where was I going with the okay, off the topic. I think I had something to follow up with the rabies thing, but maybe we'll move on to something a little more upbeat. What I did want to mention really quickly here, ladies, you can post your questions. Either you can have your name, so everyone can publicly see what you're saying, or you can post anonymously. If you go to the Q&A bubbles, kind of toward the right hand side of your screen, you can type a question there, and we can put that up on screen and get Lillian's take on it. So yeah, please feel
Yay.
free. Let's start flooding this. And yeah, Lillian's
Ooh,
ready. You're ready?
this is fun.
I
I've never,
know,
done
I'm
this,
so
with the
excited.
stage
Look,
and this is cool.
isn't that cool? So this is, yeah, all within, I guess, we went live on New Year's Eve was our first live event. And I know Mary Alice is here. And I think Mary Alice said she was here for the first live event. I'm not sure if any of you other ladies remember that, but I feel like we've come a long way since that. And
Yeah.
it's just neat. Yeah, air meat definitely has its flaws, like with the phone, not being able to use your phone to connect. But
Yeah.
yeah, being able to be here and do a Q&A when you're in Pennsylvania and I'm in Colorado is pretty neat.
It is. It is.
Well, so
Cool.
before we start taking other questions, if you don't mind, I had a question. So I am like the least fashionable person in the world. So like I am just
I doubt
intrigued.
that.
It's pretty bad. Actually, I got a new shirt at Ace Hardware today at my
Okay, hey,
hometown.
that's its own aesthetic. That's kinda
Isn't that an
cool.
aesthetic? So
It's
anyway,
very,
this is actually kind of cute. Thank you,
very
Lillian. But
authentic, you know?
I always
Yeah.
am so like people like you with an eye for that. So I'd written this down. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I was writing my questions earlier when I was working on your bio and stuff. But you said that before you said that Dr. Walston's Theology of the Body class completely transformed the way you see fashion. Can you
Yeah,
tell us more about that aha moment and how it shaped your approach? And
definitely.
I guess I was on your website when I grabbed that. So, ladies, I'm sorry. You're like, who is Dr. Walston? Like, why did this just come out of nowhere when I was doing research? So, can you kind of
Yeah.
tell us the backstory with that? Sorry.
Absolutely. So I took Dr. Waldstein. I would have never if
I'm sorry.
and don't be sorry because girl, if I hadn't taken that class and had them be like, "Oh, it's Waldstein." They're like Austrian. They're like
Oh,
legit
I was
Austrian.
gonna say it sounds
I
super
would have never
German.
known.
Okay.
I would have never known. But yeah, so I took his class at Ave. And I guess to answer the one question was how was it living at Ave?
Oh
I
yeah, here, let's go ahead. Maria,
Yeah,
I'll
it was
put that up on
very,
stage really
very
quick.
transformative. If I hadn't gone to Ave, I would have never taken this theology of the body course, which completely changed my perspective of the human person. So prior to going to Ave, I felt like my faith and my passion for fashion was conflicting against each other because I thought, "Oh my gosh, it's materialistic. I shouldn't like this. It's vain and superficial." And I kind of had this idea that drawing attention to the body or anything that kind of had to do with the body in that way was going to be inherently bad, like the materialism of it. And in that, I had this concept in my mind of this sort of a separation of the body and the soul, that the body and the soul are like warring against each other, and that the body is kind of the thing that's trying to drag you down to hell with like temptation and vanity and superficiality and materialism. And so I I thought, okay, like let me just forget these fashion dreams. I should focus on something that's more faith driven. And
Well,
so I
and do
went to
you mind, how old were you like when the fashion stuff started? Have you just
oh,
always
I
had an
was
eye
like
and just a love of it?
I was like 5 years old. I think like some
Okay.
of the first things that I was drawing was fashion designs. I wanted to go to FIT, which is the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan. I went to their summer program. It was something that I had loved my entire life, but I felt very drawn to my faith. So I didn't know, like, how does this play out? You know, how do these two things coexist? And so it was in the Theology of the Body course where St. John Paul II explains that the body and only the body can make visible the invisible, the spiritual, and the divine. So he basically says that the body and soul are one, and that it's our physical bodies that make manifest the beauty of our souls. And so that was the aha moment for me where I was like, wait a minute. So if our bodies are important, then the things that we put on our bodies can also be a vehicle for expressing the beauty of the female soul. And the feminine soul is just so stunningly beautiful. And as women are we've been given such a gift of this beautiful feminine nature. And so, how can we express that through what we wear? And how can that be something that then reaffirms our understanding of our identity as somebody who has infinite worth and value, who's made in the image of God, is not something to be objectified,
Mhm.
and is entirely precious, and should be cherished. And so, something that can be helpful in our faith life. So that's kind of where I like landed after working in the fashion industry for a while. I discerned out of the fashion industry and I really
Okay.
wanted to focus on pursuing this mission. And so I wrote my book, Theology of Style, on this topic. And now I go and I give talks to young girls and I talk to them about their worth and value and how they can use their style as a tool for understanding their value. So
That
that's
is
kind of
so
the
beautiful and just so unique because I never had that. I'm guessing you and I are probably pretty similar in age. And
yeah.
we didn't have anyone like that coming, to talk to us about that. We were
Yeah.
obviously we should be modest, in
Or
our
that was
dress
kind of the
because
focus,
it is,
right? When we were kids,
yes.
the focus was always on modesty.
Hmm.
And while modesty is an important conversation to have, sometimes the focus was all on like, don't wear this or else like bad
Yes.
things are going to happen, and your body is actually something that can have really negative consequences, and then it creates this relationship of fear and shame with our bodies. And so I really want to speak truth and light into these young girls that their bodies are good and they are beautiful. And if we're dressing in a way that expresses the beauty of our souls and who we are as a whole person, then modesty will pour out of that naturally. And also, just that like creativity is beautiful and it reflects the ultimate creator. So let's, as young girls, forget trends, forget, the magazines and the influencers and what is cool, and really just focus on creativity and trying to tap into that.
I don't know if you can see all the thumbs up flying at the bottom of your screen, but I think this is really resonating with everyone. It's
Oh,
resonating with me. I'm 35 and I'm like, yes, yes. I wish I heard this at a much younger age too. And I mean,
I
is
know,
the
I do
reception
too.
very, I'm sure the girls are very receptive and just very
Yeah,
excited.
what's so amazing is when, like, I talk to young girls after, like, it's been, like, maybe a year, and they're like, "Because of your talk, I started thrifting, and I'm so excited." They're like, "Oh my gosh, I loved your talk. I'm so excited to develop my personal style." And or, like, when I talk to the parents, and the parents are like, "Thank you. My daughter is now, like, wants to thrift, she wants to be creative, she wants to have fun with her style, and she wants to dress in a beautiful way. And it's just so affirming to me. Like, I had a parent
Mhm.
the other day say that they were like, "Man, I saw your Instagram page," and I was like, "I hope my daughter turns out like her." And I was like, "Wow,
Amen,
that is
sister.
the
Yes.
nicest thing anyone has ever said."
That is the ultimate compliment, isn't
Yeah,
it, for a parent
yeah.
to say that? That's
I know.
wonderful.
I was so You can get my book, at
Yes. Well, and
ascensionpress.com.
I want to, Maria, if you get a chance, can you get the link for the book also, if you don't mind? I know your mom doing all that. Sorry, when you get a second. Lillian, I don't know if you're kind of looking through the questions as they're coming in, but we have kind of a dynamic bunch of questions, it looks like. So I'd like to stay on fashion for a
Sure.
little bit. We have a lot of questions about being single and some about being a Catholic influencer. So we'll
Yeah.
kind of take it topic by topic if that's okay with everyone. We'll take a couple more on fashion and then we can
Yeah.
move more into the single sphere of
Do
things.
it. Let's do it.
Okay, so Barb. Okay, so yeah, we will get that up. Thank you, Maria. Let me grab. Sorry. I know I'm sending on Maria on all these weird side quests, so I apologize.
She's your partner in crime.
Oh, Maria, I don't know what I would do without her. This one
Look
is
at that
from Mary Alice,
self-esteem.
our friend. Years ago, I heard a priest in a homily say that clothes were to conceal, not reveal, and that
Mm.
we should dress more modestly than how the world dresses, letting it all hang out, so to speak. Can you comment on this?
Yeah, definitely. The initial part of the comment reminded me a bit of what St. John Paul II said about, like, the problem with pornography is that it doesn't show too much, but it not enough. And it sounds like, "Wait, what?" But really what he was saying is that it's not showing the whole person. It's, reducing that person just to their parts, just to the physical, and not revealing the interior, the whole person. So yeah, I think that when somebody says, like, the way that you dress should be to conceal, not to reveal, it can be taken on, like, a surface level,
Okay.
which sounds more like, like, practical, which, like, yeah, like, when you wear clothing, the goal shouldn't be to, like, reveal how, your more, like, sexual organs or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, but, to reveal the beauty of who you are as a woman, and to reveal, for me, the way that when I talk to young girls, it's like the goal of when you dress should be to reveal the beauty of your soul. Like, that should be like when you're getting dressed. And of course, this can't happen every single day. Sometimes we all have, like, sweats days. We have comfy days where we're living in our sweats, and that's also okay. We're not made to be perfect. Um, but yeah, the goal should be to reveal who we are as whole persons. Let me read the next
Well,
part of
and
my
I feel sorry, I took that off really quick.
Oh,
Can
no,
you see it?
you're good. I can see it right here. Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and I feel like you just have a better day when you wear something nicer versus the sweats. Like I'm a stay-at-home
Yes.
mom and I homeschool, so there's a lot of sweat days. And I don't feel as put together as I do, when
Yeah.
I actually do get dressed and put on a nice top and maybe pull my hair back and
There's a lot
um
of power in the psychology of what you wear. So there's a big chunk of my book that covers this, where there are these psychologists from, like, the turn of the century who wrote about how the things that you wear is like an extension of your
mhm,
body, and how you see what you're wearing as a part of who you are. And then therefore there's kind of this relationship between how you dress and how you see yourself. So, like, if you're wearing something that's like more formal, you stand up straighter and you
yes.
feel more dignified. It's like kind of like this cool osmosis effect. And when I talk to kids and just like women in general, it's like, yo, let's harness the power of clothing, to help us to say, wow, I really am that beautiful woman. Like, and I
Mhm.
really can conquer this day. I really can ace this test. I can conquer this interview for this job. Like, for me, when I put on a blazer, or, like, a sharp outfit, I
Yeah.
feel so much more emboldened to be that girl who is ready to take on that job.
Yes.
And there's also a lot of scientific studies where they have test groups where they'll have people who are dressed in formal wear or like more pulled together wear versus people who are not. And the people who are dressed formally perform better. They test. Mhm.
Interesting.
Or like there's one where they were wearing a lab coat, like a doctor's jacket, the white one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a group where they said, "Hey, like this lab jacket that you're wearing is actually owned by a doctor." And then they had a group that was just wearing like one that they said came from a mannequin from a store. And the people who were wearing the one that they believed was actually a doctor's like coat or lab jacket. I'm using the wrong word. They
Lab coat. Yeah, I
yeah,
think that's
they
what it's called. You're
tested
right. Yeah.
yeah, they tested higher than the people who were just wearing, like, a lab coat that they thought came from the store.
It's like a placebo almost effect, but with
Yeah.
interesting. But
So
I
it's
can totally
so
see that
cool.
too. You just hold your head a little higher and
Yeah. So I
how
think
interesting
that
they've
it's
done studies
important
on that.
to yeah. Like, let's use that to our advantage, and it's also just reaffirming the truth of our identity. You're not wearing a costume, you're not wearing something that is false to who you are or, like,
Mhm.
lying to yourself. It's like, "No, I really am able to perform, in this test, in this interview, this hard day at work. I really can do that." And
Mhm.
that can also just, like, impact our lives even, like, in dating.
Mhm.
Like, when I go out on dates, I try and wear something that really feels genuine to who I am. Like, one time I remember for a blind date, I put on this, like, outfit that did not feel, like, authentic to myself at all.
Okay.
And I was, like, wearing shoes that I didn't really like. I wasn't wearing my glasses, and I
Okay.
did my makeup, like, kind of intense. And I felt so out of body and not like myself.
Okay.
Whereas maybe if I had put on something like, I think at the time I was really into like retro 1950s
Okay.
dresses. And maybe if I put on something like that and like kept my glasses on and maybe did my like signature like cat eye and red lip, like maybe that would have made me feel more able to enter into that first date a little bit more confidently.
Mhm.
So, yeah, there's a lot of ways that we can use what we wear in every facet of our lives.
Well, I can think of some examples of that too, just where like I felt really frumpy, and then you're kinda I know you're just not yourself. I know you don't feel yourself versus,
Yeah.
what you're more comfortable in, and
Yeah.
you did touch on dating. So I feel
Mhm.
like overwhelmingly everyone has questions about dating and the single life and all that. So we might go ahead and transition over. There are some more good
Yeah.
fashion ones. Let me see if we can get back to those too, because there are a couple I would love to. Oh, that's yeah, I would love to hear your
What are the
take
best sorts
on.
of dates that you've been on? What sort of activities do you find are best for getting to know each other? So let's see. I'm trying to think of some of the best dates. I think that I've always enjoyed dates where we are like walking around and like exploring a town or
Okay.
kind of like going to different shops, looking at different things. A part of my I feel like my dating history has been a lot of like long distance dating, specifically like on Catholic Match, which I saw some of these things come up on here.
I would love to have you expand upon that. Yeah, if we can come back to that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions about long distance
Yes,
dating.
because I think with Catholic Match, especially, it's like the long distance thing is gonna come up at some point, because it would be great if you could meet somebody who is in your hometown who
Mhm.
you had a ton in common with, and it was, like, perfect, but a lot of the time you find attraction with somebody who lives in another state, and then you're
Other
like, "Okay,
side of the
what now?"
country. Mhm.
Yeah, so I've done some, like, fun virtual dates where we, like, watch a movie at the same time, or we go through, like,
Fun.
questions, like, gosh, I forget what it was, like, some questionnaire thing where it's, like, a get to know you questionnaire from a website, and
Okay.
taking turns asking and answering the questions.
I like that.
Yeah, um,
That's how you're really gonna get to know somebody too, is
yes.
asking questions, and yeah, just I like that a lot.
Yeah, and when you're long distance, it's kind of It's interesting because long distance speeds up the getting to know each other process in a different way.
Yes.
Because all you have at that point is conversation. Like, that's how you're trying to get to know each other, and then you end up, usually in my case, in the deeper type of conversations quicker than you normally would
Hmm.
like, in person, like somebody who lives close by type of thing.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I would say that my favorite type of dates when it's in person are usually ones where there's, like, a festival going on. Like, I've gone to, like, a couple like, there's, like, a bacon fest.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
fun.
like a bacon fest that I went on. There's a music fest that happens in Bethlehem.
Okay.
That was really fun. I like perusing because also one of the things that I like to see with a date is if they can kind of keep up with, like, a fun banter while you're doing activities. I was recently discerning, like, continuing to date a guy. It was back in the spring. And on paper, everything kinda lined up. Like, we liked the same things like, kind of a cerebral way, like, we had the same values. But whenever we were out and about and trying to, have conversation while we were partaking in different activities, the conversation would just fall totally flat, and I felt like it was me asking all the questions,
That's
and
exhausting then.
yeah, and I just sort of felt like he could not keep up or, like, he could not, kinda take the social lead. I like
Okay.
to test whether the guy can take the social lead for me. That's a big thing for me because I can be the social lead very easily,
Okay.
but it
Same.
can be exhausting, and it's nice
Yes.
to be able to rest in somebody else's kind of leadership in that way where they're like, "Hey, like, I'm the man and I wanna make sure that our conversation's going. I'm asking you questions." Like, I think that it's a nice sense of like, okay, like he's the man and he is making sure that this date's gonna go
Mhm.
smoothly. So he's making an effort. So I kind of like to test that out and going to like a cute little town where we can kind of bop around little shops. And
Mhm.
then we're looking at knickknacks and like, can he come up with like, different type of conversations? Can he be playful?
That sense of
So
humor is so important, and I don't think we realize that, but I know if you're taking yourself too seriously, like with the social thing, both of those, taking the social cue or taking the lead on it, those are so important. I think we often overlook them. Because like, I saw was it on Tinder like a month ago? Now it's like you can put on there your height requirements, like, oh, he must be 6'5" or whatever. It's like, there's more to it than height.
oh, yeah, like, you gotta get to a point where you kinda, like, encounter the whole person. So, I
Yes.
recently was sort of, like, getting to know/, slash sort of starting to date a guy who I met on CatholicMatch,
Okay.
and we were just, like, chemistry, same exact sense of humor, banter, he was, like, so quick-witted, but he was really hung up on the fact that I am 33 and he's 29.
It's
And
not.
I was like, "Dude, it's, like, not that big of a difference," like,
No.
and it was something that, like, kept on coming up, and I'm like, "I feel a little, like, objectified, like, you're encountering me as a whole person when I'm speaking to you, but you're reducing me to an age that
Yes.
is not
And
that
it's
big of
just
a
so
deal."
superficial. That's silly.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like, yeah, you gotta, like, have those hard conversations and kind of figure out, like, but people can get really hung up on a checklist, um,
Mhm.
and not encounter a whole human being.
And I think that's a really interesting point. You made a lot of interesting points just as this one question alone. Because, it is hard to find somebody in your area on Catholic Match. I know, and that's something, we hear time and time again. And I really like what you said about, you do get to know somebody on a different level very quickly when it's long
Yeah.
distance. And it's hard to relocate. And and we talked about it before, I think at another ladies' night where it's like well, or am I driving, or 8 hours to go have coffee with somebody and then turn, so that's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, what do you recommend with that? I guess, like if you are to
Yeah.
meet up, have you had that yet where you've
Oh,
met
I've
up?
done that a lot.
Okay, you've met up with somebody long distance.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've done that a lot. I've had guys who have come out to me, and then an instance where I went out to a guy in Texas.
Okay. Was
Um,
it weird? I guess I'm just
no,
curious, or was it just
the
wasn't
one
a
in
good match?
Texas was not weird at
Oh,
all.
that's a trek.
Yeah, it was. So I would say that when you're getting to know somebody long distance, I don't know, there's, like, levels, there's, like, levels that you go through in the getting to know each other process, and it's almost like you complete each level as if it's a video game. I don't know
Okay,
if
I
anybody else
like
can
that.
relate to that, but it's like, okay, first you're on Catholic Match, you're on the app. Okay, we're messaging back and forth, have, like, basic things in common. Alright, cool. Are we ready for the next level? Cool, let's exchange phone numbers. Alright. Now we're texting a little bit, and then the guy goes, hopefully, "Hey, alright, do you wanna FaceTime?"
Mhm.
And then you reach, "Okay, FaceTime level." Now we're getting into the more, okay, how consistently are we speaking on FaceTime? Are we talking once a week, a couple times a week? Are we
Mhm.
texting also while we're like throughout the day? Um, and then how long do you do the FaceTime conversations until you get to the point where you're like, okay, I
The
like
logical
you.
next step. Okay.
Let's see if this chemistry translates to real life, and let's figure out a meetup. I say generally, I think that I feel like a month is good. I like you'll know within a
Mhm.
month if you wanna see if this can, like, translate in real life.
Okay.
And, of course, the planning of traveling will also take some time, like, you can't just, like, book a flight the next day.
Okay.
So,
Yes. It gives
um
you some more time to talk in the meantime, though.
gives you more time to talk, maybe, like, get some insurance on that flight, 'cause who
There
knows?
you go. Just in case.
Um,
That's smart. That's
yeah,
smart. I like this from Mary Alice. Age is only a number. It's a level of maturity that we, I think, are
exactly.
looking for in a man. I was thinking that too. That's kind of immature. With
Oh,
the like, oh, you're 4 years, 3.5 years older than me. Like, that's
there was a
okay.
lot of red flags that started coming up with that guy where I was like, "Oh, you think you're 23." I was like, "You're 29. Like,
Hmm.
you're not like a 23-year-old, but you think you're 23." And he was really hung up on getting married to somebody who could have 10 kids with him.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was like, "Nobody can guarantee you how many kids they can have, even if they are
No.
23. Nobody
No.
knows."
God,
That's the
only
point of
God
marriage.
knows. No, exactly. I mean, obviously, it sounds like I don't know if dodged a bullet is the right
No,
term
I
for
think it
that, but
is.
I don't. I think there would have been some other stuff
Yeah,
down the
I think
road too. So
a younger Lily would've been like, "Oh, but wait, maybe I can convince you to date me."
right.
That's a younger
Yeah.
Lily. An older, wiser Lily is like, "Absolutely not. I'm not
Good.
going to be with somebody who wishes I was
Good.
different. Like,
Yeah.
no
No.
way."
Good. Good
Yeah.
for you, Lily. I love it. Well, and that okay, because you have such a great sense of humor about this. I'm gonna post this question really quick.
Yeah.
But I am a single Catholic woman and I don't want to be. How do you stay grounded and joyful in a
Mhm.
culture that often equates happiness with marriage?
Yes, girl. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that, like, I can definitely put on I like I'm very sanguine, but I'm also like a deep thinker and a deep feeler.
Okay.
So I go through many peaks and valleys in my mental health when it comes to being single. I go through seasons where I'm so depressed and I like don't understand why God like has allowed this to happen or what his plan is. I'm like, the
Because you're
deepest
helping
desires.
tens of thousands of women in the
Yeah,
meantime. Like he's out
yeah,
there. It's just like in the meantime, he's like, okay, Lillian, I made this for you. You're gonna help
yeah.
us here. Yes.
Yeah, like,
But
sometimes I can just be like, "I don't understand what your plan is, God, like, do you just want me to be alone for forever? Like, is that the plan here?" And then coming to grips with, like, "Okay, well, then, like, what does that mean? How can I have a happy life? how can I find a life of meaning and not be kind of completely like succumb to like the like despair essentially, because I have plenty of seasons of despair about it. And I think that is also just the nature of anybody's life or
Mhm.
vocation ever, you know? Like I'm sure that there are people who that when they are married have those moments, those seasons where they're like, "Oh my gosh, like what have I gotten myself into? Like this is really intense. This is really scary. This is
Mhm.
suffering, self-sacrifice." Maybe they go through seasons of feeling a certain way about their spouse that like maybe they didn't anticipate and they have to work through it to regain their connection. I'm sure there are times in people like in the religious priests and religious where they're like, "Oh my goodness," like, you know? So I think that with any state of life, there's going to be peaks and valleys. So I think we have to remember not to like idolize marriage as the key to happiness. We live in a culture that like in pop culture where finding your true love has been kind of like shoved down our throats since we were kids. Like Disney
Mhm.
is like the Disney princesses.
Cinderella, yeah, yes.
Yeah, like it's you
Mhm.
find your person and like that's just like everybody finds their person. But then when we're like older and we're like, wait a minute, this hasn't happened to me yet. Like, what if it just doesn't happen? Like, what then? It's like we have to rearrange mentally how we approach our expectations of life and happiness. And then we have the Catholic Church, which very much celebrates young families. And like that's great and beautiful. But sometimes they don't really speak to the single people or they don't know what to do with us. They're like, "Ooh, you're not married and you're not a sister. Like, we don't really
What we
know."
do as a church, I know, because as the Catholic Church, we're supposed to be welcoming. I mean, what we need to do something.
Yeah, or like
We
it's this
do, and
feeling
what
of
is
like,
the
what's
answer
wrong
there?
with them? Like, I think for me, it was always really hard to be like, the like nobody sometimes people would say it to my face of like, "What's wrong with this girl? Like, she's not saying," like the blame is like put back on us, where it's like, "You're single for a reason. Like, if you're still single, then like you must be doing something wrong." Um, and that can create a lot of shame within us because then it's like, well, what can I do? How can I control the outcome that I want? And
Mhm.
I think that a lot of people in Catholic circles take a lot of undue like credit for God's work in their life. Like
Yes,
sometimes,
yes,
yeah, sometimes they're like, well, I got married and I found my guy. And I'm like, yeah, because God orchestrated it so that you would
yes.
meet the right person
At that time and place,
at
yes,
time. And
correct.
like, okay, like great. Like, why are you taking credit for this? Like you like did a like American Idol search for your husband.
Right.
Um so it's just like then there's a lot of feelings of that like we control our vocation because I'm sure everybody in this chat knows that feeling of like the expectation of being Catholic and needing to get married between the ages of like 23 and 26. Like that's
Mhm.
kind of this like weird like, well, you're 27
Which
like
is so young, like, it's just silly, like, we put a time
yeah.
on it. I know, but it's like, God's
Yes.
outside of time, so, like, we're like, "Okay, God, hurry up, like, what's going on? What's going on?" You know?
Right,
It's like
right.
our time is not
Mhm.
God's time,
Yes, and
vice
that's
versa, yeah.
something that I've had to really, like be like, my timeline is not God's timeline, and, like, God doesn't see our Catholic culture and be like, "Oh, yeah, she's turning 24 next month, I better get that guy to her." God
Yes.
doesn't care about that stuff, you know? Like,
Mhm.
he doesn't work like that, and so
No.
why are we trying to force our timelines onto him? One thing that I've been praying with in this past week because I'm always doing some novena, okay? You know, I've hit up my girl Saint Anne find me a man. I've
Do
hit up
you
Saint
do you
Joseph.
have, like, an email list? I just thought of that, where you, like, send out stuff like that? Do you do anything like that? Not
I
to
don't.
interrupt,
I'm thinking
but
of starting like a Substack where I like more
Sure.
explicitly talk about my dating experiences
Yes,
and like my internal turmoil and stuff with it.
yes, do
'Cause there's a
it.
lot of processing that I do. And sometimes doing it on like a larger, like more public scale, like Instagram feels a little too revealing, but I want to be there for like my girls. Like
Yes, I
I
think so,
want
Zach, that is well, and then just to
yeah.
do a novena together too is beautiful. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was just like, "Oh, I wonder if she, like, leads,
I
everyone if you have,
should.
like, an email list or" okay,
I honestly
so
should.
novenas, sorry. So
Maybe
Saint Anne.
you speaking to that is something that I can like, you know, actually like take more seriously about pursuing.
I think you should
Maybe
do
this
it.
is
I will be
one.
your first subscriber. I will pay to subscribe. I will do
Yeah.
that, Lillian. No, you have my
Okay,
word,
cool.
so,
Yay.
what so, yeah, tell me more about the novena. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes. Yes. No, no, you're good. So I'm always like doing something like that. Like I've hit up all my favorite saint friends, Saint Joseph, Saint Rita,
Yes.
the Holy Family, of
Mhm.
course. And sometimes like, after you do these novenas, you like have this expectation and you're like,
Okay, where is he? Yeah. Mhm,
and
yes.
I've had to like readjust how I mentally approach prayer specifically for this intention because when the intention was not answered, I would be like, what the heck? Like,
Mhm.
I've prayed this many novenas, this many rosaries, this many intentions. Like, how come, like, shouldn't this be the exchange? Um,
Mhm.
and then you
Well,
can
when
grow
you hear somebody
resentful.
else is like, "Oh, I prayed a novena to Saint Therese about whether I should, join a covenant or a convent, excuse me, or get married," and there was a rose the next day, and then you're
Yeah.
looking around, it's like,
Yes.
"Come on,
Yeah.
Saint Therese, like what did I do wrong?" So yeah, yes,
Exactly.
you have to
It can
readjust
become
your
this, like, mental torment if you have this
Mhm,
approach to prayer, and I wrote an article for Catholic Match that was like, I had to stop praying for my future spouse. Like, it was turning into this, like, obsessive, unhealthy thing that was not, like, actually beneficial.
mhm,
And we are told to pray without ceasing, but I think sometimes we end up in this toxic mindset where we're, like, so fixated on it that it becomes like this like OCD type of like I have to pray like, "Oh my gosh, if I don't, I'm gonna mess up and then I won't get my husband and da 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 da."
mhm.
So
Yes. You're not praying for
so
the right reasons at that point.
right, right. So but as like a it can be really hard as like being like single Catholics and you're like, how do I pray about this? I've been praying about this for 10 years. How do I keep on praying about this without losing my mind
Mhm,
and feeling like God has just like turned has turned a blind eye or deaf ear to me, and being just like so confused. But so one of the things that I've been kind of praying with was Saint Augustine and how he said
mhm.
that the sometimes God like stretches your heart so that you're able to receive a gift better. um and
Okay.
I hadn't really like thought of it that way before, but it's like sometimes these seasons of waiting, no matter how long they are, how painful they are, um, is a way that God stretches your heart so that you can receive more. Like, and it was kind of compared to like gosh, what was it? It was like if you're filling up a balloon with water, you have to like put in the water and like let it stretch more and more before you like add more water so
Mhm,
that it doesn't like pop immediately.
mhm.
So that's been something that I've been really reflecting on a lot lately. I certainly don't have all the answers for like why there are singleness. I think that there are practical reasons why there are so many single Catholics. I think that it's really hard for virtuous men to exist. Like that sounds like
No, I
intense
agree, right,
statement.
yeah.
Our culture is very
Mhm,
it's very difficult for men to be virtuous. It's so much easier. Everything in our culture kind of attacks true masculinity
mhm,
and selflessness, and everything is about instant gratification.
mhm.
And I think that it's very hard for men to withstand that. Not to say that it's not for women, um, but I think that it's particularly difficult for men.
Mhm.
Um, and we have a lot of because I have so many beautiful Catholic single girlfriends, but I don't have a lot of, like, normal Catholic
Good.
guy friends.
Mhm.
So
That's
we're
actually a
dealing
really interesting point. I never thought of that, but that is
Mhm.
I mean, I could think of some husbands of friends maybe,
Yeah.
but no, that's a really interesting point,
Yeah, I
Lillian.
know a lot of really beautiful, wonderful, faithful women and not a ton of guys who I could be like, "Ooh, let me set up them, blah, 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 blah."
Yes.
Because I think that either yeah, I think it's harder for men to kind of commit to the faith, and a lot of the guys that I end up talking to on Catholic Match almost are always reverts or converts.
Mhm.
There are people who are like, "Oh, wow, like, I found Jesus, and now I'm on this dating app, and, like, I'm trying to find a Catholic woman," you know?
Okay, yes.
Um, so yeah, I'm trying I mean, I just kinda, like, info dumped a lot of different ideas just now
No,
based
that's
off of that one
wonderful.
question, but
No, thank you, and I think I haven't really been reading the chat or anything, but no, I think you're resonating because I saw a lot of the emojis flying as you were talking too, so I think you're really resonating with a lot of us here this evening. I just looked at the clock. We have 15 minutes left. Are you good for like one or two
Crazy.
more questions? I want to get to a
Oh,
couple more.
yeah.
We'll go. I guess let's go ahead and just stick with the singles topic. I think that's
Yeah.
where a lot of our questions lie.
Mhm.
Maria, I'll go ahead and put this one up. Because this is another, I think this is a good question because this kind of pertains also, back to Disney. And it's like, the love at first sight. And
Mhm.
this is kind of interesting, just pertaining to what we think, how relationships
Yeah.
move. What do you suggest about romantic connection? And what do you do if a guy is and you talk for hours, have great dates, but there is no romantic connection?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
I think that it's fair to give it maybe like 2 or 3 dates. If everything else is lining up of, like, values and, and you're like, "Hmm, okay, maybe something could be there." Um, I usually give it, like, a couple dates, and then if I'm really not feeling like there's a connection, because you have to like, it's kind of like the thing that we're talking about, like, having the same sense of humor and kind of mentally kind of functioning in a way where you understand each other and
Mhm.
you're not constantly explaining yourself or you should feel excited. Like when I was trying to date that one guy who was like living near me and we just didn't really have any banter, I found myself like just not looking forward to going out on the dates.
That's not how it should
And
be.
like you
You
should
don't
be
want a
excited.
lifetime of that.
Yeah. Like give it, if you are like somewhat attracted to this person and you've got similar values, yes, I think it's worth going out on, like, a couple dates and seeing where it goes, but you will realize you'll have an intuition at a certain point where you're like, "Okay, like, this is not there." Like, I would definitely not stretch it out past, like, 3 dates if you're really not feeling a
Okay, I
connection.
was gonna say like 2 to 3. Is that what you
Yeah.
kind of recommend with
That's
that?
that's
Okay, if
usually
you're
how
not
I
feeling
function
okay.
personally. I don't know if that's exactly how everybody else would function best.
No,
There
I
could
think
be
that's a
somebody
pretty
who's
good
like, "I went out on 5 dates and it was the 5th date that I was like, ah."
okay. Just
So
kind of, yeah, you almost have to like trial and error, engage it for yourself to find like that sweet spot number, maybe too. But
yes, yeah,
you should know pretty early on, regardless, it
yeah,
sounds like
definitely you should be
you would say.
excited to see that person and looking forward to it, and when they text you, you're like, "Ooh, what did they say?"
Yes.
Like, I
Yes.
found myself being, like, skimming through his texts and being like, "Alright, what did he say?" And then like, "Oh, he wants
Yeah.
to hang
It's a
out,
chore to
okay."
answer it.
The person everybody deserves somebody who's excited about them, you
Mhm.
know?
I like that.
So,
Yes, and they do. I
yeah.
agree. I'm gonna kind of speed fire at you because somebody even asked, "Are we gonna get to all the questions?" We probably aren't, which I apologize. I don't think an hour is nearly enough with
I
Lillian.
can
So
always
Lillian,
come
we might
back.
have to talk to you about coming back. I talked to
Yeah.
you once. I'll check your schedule and see because we would love to have you back.
Oh, yeah. I'm
But
always down to
this
come
is
back.
what's that? Sorry.
I'm always down to come back.
Okay, we appreciate you, Lillian. This is probably a silly question, but is there a specific marital status I need to have to wear a veil?
There is not.
Mm-mm.
I
I
think
didn't
that the
think
only
so
thing
either.
that I've noticed is that sometimes the colors can be different. I've seen that, black veils are typically worn by women who are already married,
Okay.
and I think white ones are supposed to represent, like, virginity or purity or something. It's all very, like, like, old-fashioned and
So
stuff.
here's, yeah, how are veils supposed to be used or what are their purpose? Are veils for women of all ages?
Yeah, they're for women of all ages. I think that the purpose is to wear them so that you're totally focused on what's happening in the mass and prayer. It's like a sign of like I'm in the zone.
Mhm.
um,
Yes,
like
yes.
I'm locked in. And
See,
I
okay, as a kid, because we're similar ages here, Lillian. Do you
yeah.
remember as a kid any woman wearing a veil?
Um, my one sister is pretty active in the Latin mass. So
Yes,
anytime I would
it's
kind of
very
like
common. Yes,
go to her masses. It would be pretty like prevalent in the community. I grew up going to the Novus Ordo mass,
that's
and
us.
not really. There could be like one or two people
I'm
within.
seeing it more now, which is
Yeah,
interesting at the
I
Nova
think it's
Sordo
cool.
even.
I have a veil. I don't wear it all the time, mostly because I forget. And then I also need to put like a little comb in it. One of the things that is kind of tough is like when you're wearing the veil and it's kind of like meant to like help you enter into a prayerful space, like lock in. And sometimes it can be nice to have like something that's like blocking your view so
You're
you're not
not
like
seeing every distraction. Yes,
um, and when you're a part of a community where everybody's veiling, it's like, cool, we're all doing this, we're all locked in. Nobody's standing out as like being the person in the veil. Sometimes if you go to a Novus Ordo, you feel weird because
there's
you're like,
not
I'm the
as
only one wearing
many.
the veil. And then you feel like people are looking at you. And then it just kind of takes away from the point, which is like you're supposed to be locked in. So I think it's just like to each and every person's
Yes.
discernment.
And I think it was Emily Stimson Chapman. I want to say this was years ago, but she was talking about veiling, and she made a comment about it. She can't veil because sometimes she'll look around and just be like, I'm better than everyone else because I'm
Mm.
wearing the veil. And like I did some inner searching there. I think it was Emily that said that, but I was like, I'm afraid I'd be that person where
Oh,
like,
I
oh,
totally think I would feel that way, or
so
like I would
that's where
turn
I'm
it
like,
into
I don't know if
like
I should
a
wear the
fashion
veil because I'm
moment.
not
Yeah, like
I'm not
I
doing it for the right reasons. I'm looking around like
yes.
she's not wearing a veil, but look at
Eh,
me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
so while the veil is obviously not an accessory, let's
yeah.
talk a little bit about being fashionable at mass. Sorry, I'm throwing these at you
No,
so
it's
quick.
okay,
Rapid fire,
yeah.
go, go, go.
Speed
What
round.
fashion accessories would you consider a necessity for daily life as a Catholic? What about for formal events?
I don't know, I wouldn't say anything is a necessity. I'm sure my answer should be to wear a scapular or a miraculous
Yes.
medal.
Mhm.
I very frequently forget to wear my
I'm
scapular.
not wearing mine. I usually have a
Um
scapular. Yes.
Yeah, I
I
think that
forgot
that
mine.
would be
It's
probably
true.
the only correct answer to that, or if you are somebody who's a part of a religious order, like, you should be wearing your veil and all of that. But yeah, in terms of other things, I don't think that there's any specific accessory or garment that you should be wearing as a Catholic
Okay. Thank
necessarily,
you for
yeah.
that.
But one thing that I
Okay.
will say, if you're
Oh, yeah.
interested in this topic, is you should check out my friend, Mary Harper on Instagram. She goes under the name Liturgical Style, and she's all
Mm.
about diving into, um, as a layperson, how to partake in the liturgical year through your style and how to enter into prayer through what you're wearing as a layperson. And
Okay.
she also talks about like
Maria,
the
sorry,
saints.
can you grab that and put it in the event feed?
Yeah,
Liturgical style is the
she's
handle.
gonna be yes, liturgical style.
Okay. Thank you in
She's my
advance, Maria.
very good
Sorry.
friend, Mary.
Okay.
Um,
And I don't think
and
I follow her
you
either.
should she's so great. She's like and she talks about, like it's all about, like, choosing items that can help you reflect more on the saints, the lives of the saints, and, or, like, during Holy Week, like, how to dress for every day during Holy Week so that you can enter into it as, like, your whole person.
Yes.
Um, we started out doing things like, dress like Mary for, like, a month. We'll be like, dress like Mary for a month, like, May, and so we'll just, like, incorporate a lot of blue,
Okay.
um,
I was going to
or, like
ask blue or how do you do
Ye
that? Okay.
yeah, and then it's not so much that you're following, like, a rigorous rule, it's that, like, you're wearing something that then makes you like, "Ugh, I'm wearing blue today because of the Blessed Mother, like, I'm remembering her,
That's
and I'm
very
going to
good.
pray, Hail Holy Queen right now
I love
because
that.
I'm reminded of that." So
What an
she's
easy way to do that too, to
yeah, so
remember.
she's really great resource, and I really highly recommend everybody check her out if you're, like, interested on this topic of, like, being a Catholic woman and how to, like, incorporate faith and fashion on an everyday level.
Okay. Hopefully, I'll check here in a second. But yeah, thank you in advance, Maria, for doing that. I
Yeah.
really like this question, and hopefully it's not like too. I don't know. I don't think it's going to get you in trouble or anything. And I have heard of this book also, and I have some
Yeah.
traditional friends that abide by this rule too. But
Mhm.
should Catholic women wear only skirts and dresses? I've heard traditional Catholic friends, me too, mention a book that suggests this, but I don't remember the name.
I'm trying to remember what the book is as well.
It's
Um,
Mrs. Tim. I can't think of what his name is, but I think it's. I can't think of what her name is, but it's like she's very traditional. Do you know who I'm
yes.
talking about?
Gosh, I'm trying to
I cannot
remember.
think what his name is, but he's really traditional. He's kind of controversial, and her take too. But sorry,
Okay.
what's your take? I got really excited when I saw
Yeah,
that.
my take is that I don't agree. I think that the pants aren't necessarily an indicator, or skirts aren't necessarily an indicator of like male female, because I mean if we look at fashion history, like when Jesus was walking around he wasn't wearing pants, and like the back in the like King Louis the 16th or whatever, he was wearing high heels, and like there's it's a very like modern concept. Like it sounds traditional to be like men and women should like wear, men wear the pants, women wear the skirts, but that's actually like a fairly modern idea, just
That's
because
a
if you
really good point.
look at fashion history, like it was not necessarily like a determining factor of man versus woman. Um
Okay.
you could see it come up in different parts of the culture, but um yeah, I don't think that I think that femininity is not a costume. I think that you can wear a pair of like really like stylish pants or stylish slacks. My niece was just over and she had these like really great like billowy wide leg pants on with her cute little like embroidered vest, and she just looked so like
It actually runs
boho.
in your family, it sounds like.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gals just have an eye for this.
yeah. She was just looked so like boho and feminine and cute, and yeah, I think that with anything for like men and women, like keep in mind like the dignity of your body and like dress for the dignity of your body. I don't think that pants on a woman reduces her dignity. I think that has more to do with more of like a stereotype of like gender in our culture. And yeah, that's kind of I have a whole like chunk of my book that covers this. I
Okay,
have a big section on modesty where I tackle the topic and like where hypermodesty kind of came from, and how hypermodesty falls into the trap of objectification the same way that like more outright obvious objectification. It's kind of like two sides of the same coin.
okay.
And so we really kind of like in my book, I really get into that. So if you're kind of interested more on this topic, I definitely recommend my book because it's a
You did the
substantial topic.
research, right.
Yes.
You did your homework on it.
Yeah.
To follow up, sorry, Zakaya, pants even at mass.
I think that if the pants are classy, I would say for me, I would wear like a nice wide leg like pant. I wouldn't wear something that's like tight pants or like tight jeans or something at church.
The
Um,
holy stuff's really in right now too, or like you can see.
yeah, I wouldn't wear
Okay.
I wouldn't wear I
Yeah.
wouldn't wear rips to mass. Again, I'm thinking of something that's like, classy.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. I picture in my head like a Katharine Hepburn kind of
Mhm.
like stylish wide pant. Or something that's,
What do you think
not
of
super.
jeans? Because I
Yeah,
feel like I do jeans and a nice top a lot, which
yeah.
probably isn't the
Well,
best
I mean, look,
either,
it
but
depends. It really depends on, like, what is the overall picture that's being communicated here.
okay.
Because the way that you style things and the way that you present yourself and your intention behind the outfit, that also plays an important role as well.
Mhm.
So the catechism of the church doesn't really have, or like the church self, we don't have any doctrine that is specific about like modesty and what you should wear and what you should not wear. There have been priests and cardinals who have come out and said that you have to wear like a shirt that like comes up to like here, and you can't have like two finger from like the pit of
Yes,
your neck, and
okay.
like
I've
women
heard
shouldn't
that.
show their elbows. Those guys were not that wasn't something that was adopted by the church teaching and
Okay.
being like, this is the law, but some people
Board
glom
opinion.
onto that as if it is. And so I did a lot of research on this for my book. And so yeah, I would just, encourage a lot of reflection. A lot of intention has to do with when things are appropriate. And I think that when we develop our faith life, we and like invest in our prayer, we kind of know when our intentions are not that great when it comes to what we wear. There's been plenty of times where I'm like, I want to get attention and I want guys to see me and think I'm hot. Like that's not
Mhm.
a good intention to have, but like I will have those intentions sometimes, but it's the point is to like catch that intention and be like, okay, like is this expressing my dignity as a woman? How can I correct this?
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think that's great. Zakiah was saying, I cannot follow the example set by those around me. I'm new to the faith. So
Ah,
kind
cool.
of just follow Zakiah. I think you should get her book. I'm actually like,
A
this is
lot of
funny.
guys have read my book and they
I
liked it.
well, and so I have been meaning to get it because I looked on Libby and it wasn't on our Libby. I live in very liberal Colorado, so it's hard to get any
Yeah.
religious books as it is. But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get it. It's a beautiful
I think
book.
there's a Kindle version of my
Is there?
book. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure
Well,
you can get the Kindle.
so if I want to, I mean, like Amazon, I'm assuming you don't get any kind of, I don't know if like on Ave Maria, if you get any kind of, I'd rather support you, I guess.
Yes, yes. So, Amazon can be kind of weird with ordering things. I think that I do get some commission from that. I get most of my commission from Ascension.
Okay, so
So
I'll go. Okay, so
yeah,
order through Ave Maria, you think, or no, was it
Ascension.
Ascension?
Ascension Press, yeah.
Sorry.
I went to
So we
Ave
went to
Maria
Ave Maria
University.
University. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Getting my wires crossed here.
You're good.
Oh my gosh, Lillian, it's an hour. We're at an hour here. I really appreciate you hanging out with us tonight. Where can we reach you? I mean, obviously you're starting a Substack this evening, but other than that,
Yeah.
like, where can we find you?
Should. I'm most active on Instagram. You can find me at Lillian_Fallon. That's pretty much where I'll post things. Sometimes it'll be about fashion, sometimes it'll be about dating. So it'll be kind of everything that we've talked about tonight.
Well, that's wonderful. And then is it lillianfallon.com, I believe,
Yes.
too, for more
Yes.
information about
Hmm.
Lillian, you are the best. Like I told Lillian when she first came on, because I didn't even introduce myself. I was just like, Lillian. But I was like, I followed you forever. I mean, it's probably since COVID times. I think it was.
You've seen
And
me
so you
go
just
through a lot, girl.
we have been through so
You
much together.
yes,
So
for
it's
real.
just it's so fun to have you here. You are just the best. And I'm so glad if
Aw.
you haven't met her yet that you got to meet her this evening because
Yeah, I
Lillian.
have a very special place in my heart for all the, single Catholics, all of us like out here dating and like trying to figure out our vocations and like do God's will. And we're really like all in this together. And a lot of times I think we feel like we're alone in this experience, but we're not. And I think that's why I'm so passionate about talking about it and posting and writing articles because we realize, oh my gosh, like look at like there's all of us here who are in this and it feels so much infinitely better when you know that you're not alone in the experience. So that's my goal is just to like be there for the people who are in the same spot that I am in. Yeah, just like want everybody to know that they're not alone. I'm right there with them.
Thank you, Lillian. We as a church need to step up too. We need to figure out the answer to that because, like you said, young families and it's we need to be better as a church. So thank you for being there for all of us, Lillian. God bless.
Of course. Until next time, I'll see you guys
Until
then.
next time, we will have you back. Yes. Thank
Perfect.
you,
Can't wait.
ma'am. Thanks,
All right.
Lillian.
Bye,
God
everyone.
bless.